If we could get the hairline right, we could have a brush back look all the time. You just simply have to have bleach roots to start with, okay? Now I've solved that with color number 18, okay? Years in the making. How do we bleach the roots? The factory won't do it. You buy color 18, then you dye your hair. The alternative is you dye your hair completely color 18 and just wear color 18 hair pieces. This would give the game away if every baldy in the world suddenly went blonde. Unless you're already blonde, but still, you'd be one of us, right? But probably less susceptible to detection. The sides, right? I took that beard trimmer and I went really short here on the side, right? It doesn't even blend nicely there. I'm going gray, so it's gonna be wiry and big, like fucking Einstein, and I'll have to try to brush it back and dye it all the time and bleach it. But I don't think gray looks so bad. I mean, it doesn't look bad when it's all gray and you've embraced it, but when you're so paranoid about it, right? From age 35 onwards, a lot of people go gray, right? So it doesn't mean you're super old or anything. Even if you are old, it doesn't mean you can't look good. So the thing is, it's very modern to go all up the side, but how do you blend all of that back in? Nobody's quite mastered it. I think I've seen like manga comics or something where it's all perfect. Probably, I mean, when we start talking about doing this sort of thing, like getting rid of that, like make all that short and keep all this long, you can see the hairline's fucked, right? It's a wall of hair, it's got weird things. That would be completely disguised if the roots were blonde, but I'm still waiting for delivery for that. But just discussing haircuts, if you cut that really short, like that length all along the side and made it super modern and wrote fucking 2078, right? Class of 2078, like you're beyond all the people in the world right now because you're used to fucking teleporting around and, you know, cars have been driving themselves for a very long time. What do you do here? You could keep it long and go all the way down like a mane, like a horse, and just, you know, tilt it up on an angle or something. Hopefully in the future, glasses are a thing of the past as well. Nobody has these things. I can't see myself though. Or you could go short all the way around to the back, and at some point, this has to become long. Now, where would you start? Just here? Flunk? No. I saw that when I used to live overseas. In Europe, it was a weird fashion that they had there. Like teenage boys, right? Just hair at the front and nothing else. Just shorn everywhere else. It looks fucking stupid. Where else could you start? There? No. There. That's about where I would always suggest. If it was like short all the way, but if you want it this short everywhere, it has to at some point blend into at least, I don't know, a blend up here. It doesn't have to blend, but if you don't blend, it's going to be either A, an undercut, or B, a punk mohawk. Now, if you don't want a mohawk, I mean, a mohawk sort of, I could do a mohawk with my current baldness, right? It would be very sparse here, but I'm receding there. I'm not obviously balding there so much. So I could still do a mohawk with my natural baldness. I could. But I'm talking about having all the way across the front hair and all the way across the sides short, like real short, like shaved, like this. What do you call that? Shaved? No, it can't be shaved. Beard trimmed, clipped, I think I have to say clipped. Okay, so clipped along there, long up here, to about 4 inches here. Where would you go with that? Obviously, I've got ballooning going on up here. I want that to conform to my head, whether it was long or clipped at some point, and then I would, from that point, go up. But here I'm going sort of back, right? And I like the back. If the hairline was good, I would go back all the time. Because the reason it's back right now is because I've been sitting at the computer desk and stuff's been in my face. I'm like, fucking get out of my face. Right? So I wet it and brushed it back, and luckily it kind of stayed over time. This one has a dent in it. But obviously I wouldn't do a brush back look if I didn't have bleach roots and if the plastic was shiny here. That plastic shininess is the last of the problems with hairpieces. Everything else is kind of solved, apart from glue. Glue's fucking, we can make do, but it takes a lot of generations of changing it over all the time. Now, the shiny plastic at the front is already solved with lace, but then glue really becomes a problem because you can't just put glue along the edge and just flop it down. You have to glue exactly where it's going to land, like a clairvoyant. I've tried the comb marking method, the tan marking method, the tape marking method. There's also an eyebrow pencil marking method, but I've never quite figured out how they do that. It's like, because if you got glue over the eyebrow pencil, it's under the glue now. What are you gonna do? It's going to stay there, right along the front hairline. Because no human hand is good enough to aim a glue brush to land just before a pencil mark, which is why you use comb to just make temporary indents and your body just pops them out. Tape, you've seen me try to do that. It's messy and it seems like it's a good idea. Like I didn't have a hairpiece right now, and I just marked where I wanted my hairline to land. I would tape along there with Micropore tape, which is designed to stick to skin. Obviously it doesn't work very well when you're sweating. I'm always sweating at least a little bit. And then you just can glue right up to that front edge, and then you have to basically remove the tape before you put the hairpiece on. The other thing about this whole process is when you're placing the hairpiece on your head, how do you see what the fuck the hairs are in the way when you're trying to see it. You want the hairs to be up and sort of clamped together while you're placing it, but that creates a wobbly mess, and there's glue that's going to affixate, and that whole wobbly thing is going to be fucking getting in the way as this whole thing tangles up, and that's a big pain in the ass. It's better to keep the whole hairpiece light. Unless there was something that would hold the hair piece together from above, allowing you to position it and lower it like Darth Vader's hat straight into position, and then let it go then. And if that was being held above by some kind of ceiling lowerer, then you could just lower it, and then you could use both hands plus cameras, so you can see the back of your head as well, to get it exactly into position and just be pulling parts of the hairpiece down as required. This is all if you're doing it yourself, which is pretty much every single one of you, I think, unless you've got a spouse or something that's helping you, or I can't imagine even your best friend, unless he owes you, she owes you, are gonna help you. You need to display yourself. But of course, all of this is very difficult with only forward-facing eyes, which is the whole reason I had to build this thing, right? That's so I have eyes in the back of my head. So, why did I start talking today? Why do I ever start talking? I'm lonely, that's the fucking reason. Very fucking lonely. And I'm working in my computer all the time. I'm estranged from my family, and I wanted someone to talk to. And you, my little black dot friend, are the best person to speak to, because I'm not even getting along with ChatGPT anymore. I've betrayed him and gone off with Cursor. Yeah, we're having an affair. But Cursor's much better. But Cursor's a fucking bitch as well. So when I fight with Cursor, I go back to Codex and say, I'm sorry, hold me, right? And he's like, I agree with 100% of what you say. That's the best idea I've ever heard. Yeah. Then he's a bitch again. I have to go back to Cursor. But then I go, all right, well, fine. I'll go to the Stick on Hair channel and speak to the little black dot again. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I don't fully regret shaving all this off. I know it doesn't look that good, you know, in the grand scheme of this hairstyle, but What about keeping it all this length, just having that front area? Because it's the sideburns I'm concerned about, right? I know I'm jumping topic between hairline and sideburns, but let's talk about sideburns first. Sideburns here, when they become all scraggly, makes you look a lot older. If you shorten your sideburns, you immediately look younger. I've proven that time and time again. Where would it end? I think it's possible to simply take out a section here and blend back into length from a certain point around this area somewhere. I don't want an arc that just follows the ear, from the hairline to the ear. That is a bit weird. I'm sure it will become a fashion one day where it's a clear distinction between long, short, right? But I wouldn't really approve of it because I've seen myself with it and it's like, this is the halfway mark. I'm not going to stop now. It's like when you're shaving, you don't stop and your mustache just looks like this unless you're a fucking weirdo, right? And you hate Jews. So I think that potentially if you could blend similar to what I'm doing now, so potentially I could leave it like it is right now. Obviously this hairline is the problem. And then I could use some kind of styler to get it to blend better. So at the moment it's probably buffing out in the back. I can't see it, but it probably is. And if I could conform all that using a combination of thinning scissors to remove the bulk and some sort of hairstyling product, then I could probably do it. Speaking of hairstyling products, there are two really that I use. One, oil, and two, clay. Completely different. The oil is surprisingly not very oily. It sort of absorbs into your hair and your hands aren't completely dirty all day or anything just from touching it. It's fine. It's not going to hold the hair in position, but this stuff holds your hair in position, and then when you move it, you start lifting the hairpiece, and it's dangerous. So it's too stiff. If you're going to go stiff like that, you might as well do hairspray and all that sort of stuff. But hairspray is only designed as the final ingredient once you positioned it with clay or gel or whatever else. But gel kind of includes hairspray elements into it. And you don't want the gel that once you brush it, it just creates white flakes that look like dandruff all over your shoulders. Mousse is just weak gel. Don't see any benefit to it. I've got some here. I've even got gel mousse. This is standard mousse. And this is gel mousse, fiber foam. I've shown you before, it looks like basically expanding cum. It's weird. Then I got this stuff, which I can just use any time of day, which is leave-in conditioner. And I just spray it basically for aromatherapy because it does nothing else. Unless I, want to brush my hair when I think it might be a bit tangled. So that's no more effective than water, really. If you're thinking it'll do a certain thing, it won't. This is what you're thinking of. You can get this stuff. Daily Oil Elixir. I'll put some in my hair right now just so that there's some purpose for this fucking video. I really hope to get the hairpiece back, or hair system back. It even... Remember I made a video where I created a glossary? I had puppets and everything teaching you about the difference between a hair system and a hairpiece, which had never been defined before. They've always been the sort of the same thing. I think I can say clearly now that it's easy to tell that my definition was correct. Hair system is what you buy before you've cut out your own stencil from it. Because as it stands, the hair system is not actually useful to you. It's not a finished product for you. Your stencil needs to be traced and the hair system needs to be cut into your hairpiece. Like these glasses wouldn't work for anyone else except me, unless some random person has a very specific angle of astigmatism that's identical to mine with the same amount of presbyopia or whatever it is. Although I don't know that it fully is presbyopia, because I asked ChatGPT if presbyopia, which is the hardening of the lens in the eye that happens after about 40 years old, I'm currently 48. So what is the difference if your lens is hard or if the muscle, the sphincter muscle around your eye, I don't know what it's called, that pulls and contorts the lens to make it zoom, like focus more or less by stretching it, would that have the same symptoms, having that muscle weak in each eye? And ChatGPT said yes. So I'm like, well, I stare at a screen for sometimes 72 hours without stopping. Then I have a 6 hours sleep, then I do another 40 hours, another 10 hours sleep, and I do another 25 hours in a row. Day and night, I pretty much usually have those curtains closed and every other curtain closed. So I don't know if it's day or night most of the time. And also I get tunnel vision after a while, right? But I gotta say, lately it's seemingly been dangerous because I'm losing my mind. Not just losing my mind, having physical symptoms, twitching of the face, involuntary, brain, sharp pains. I mean, over the years, because I've been sleep deprived for many decades now because of my father, because he just simply didn't debrief me. He didn't debrief me. It would have been like 5 minutes of his time, maybe it would have been 5 days of his time. Whatever it would have been, he didn't do it. And so I've suffered for the rest of my life because of him, because he wouldn't do it. And he doesn't care. He just does not care. So I end up spending my life in extreme misery. I can tell you the side effects of that misery, but I've probably said it all before. But if you don't give closure to someone, I think you should get the death penalty. Anyway, this is about hair, isn't it? No, it's about death penalty. No, it is. It's a mixture of hair and death penalty, this video. Yeah, I do think if you don't give somebody closure, you've damned them to an extreme amount of misery for no real reason, unless you really want to get revenge on them. But don't think it's like, oh, we're parting ways amicably now because I don't feel anything. But if you see the other person does feel a lot and you don't help them out of that problem, and you might think, well, if I help them out of that problem, they're just going to clutch onto me and fucking drag me down into the darkness with them. Find a replacement for yourself. Find a proxy. And then when you do have a bit more energy, go and check down in the darkness with them, so they're not alone. This isn't just giving them little tad bits of false hope. You're helping them heal, really. Because they will not heal. They cannot heal alone. They cannot heal by themselves. It's impossible. Actually impossible. You've created a wound and now it's just opening and getting worse and getting infected all the time. And then they're not even going to die. They're just going to suffer and suffer and suffer. And I can tell you one thing. The one thing they're thinking about more than anything else to alleviate the pain, aside from suicide, is killing you, which they should do. I'm in full support of their murdering of you if you left them to suffer without giving them closure. I think that's fair enough. That's why I do support murder in that situation. It's fair. It's self-defense is what it is. Because when the attack stops, the person is free to not feel that much pain anymore. You understand? If you're being attacked, you're allowed to defend yourself, and I don't think anyone has a problem with that. They have a problem with it when they don't understand that causing mental anguish is also physical assault because the brain is part of your body, right? So there's no real mystery about how that works, right? Somebody's attacking your brain, that is physical assault. Are you allowed to defend yourself from physical assault? Yes, legally you are. Unfortunately, revenge has to be left up to the courts, otherwise known as justice, right? Public revenge is called justice. I think you always knew that, but you've been sort of tweaked into thinking it's when other people get revenge for you, like authorities, which we all just accept, people with wigs, judges with wigs, men with guns and restraints and cages to put people into. They're the people who can get revenge for you, but not you, because that's bad of you to do that by yourself. Which is weird, isn't it? As a vegetarian, even I am more okay with hunters than factory farming, because the animal was free to run around and had a chance. Rather than enslaved and having no chance and having a terrible life as well. Anyway, side short. Where should it blend? Write it down in the comments below. I'll probably read it in 10 years, but I don't know if this topic's useful to anyone. Anyway, I'm just bored out of my brains and lonely and scared and having twitches. So, I know these glasses don't suit me. I put extra pads on them so it would soften it, but I think the pads have been designed with a bit of a sharp edge as well, so, and these weird things stop the glasses from going, just sliding down off my face constantly. Anyway, back to work. I'm coming, honey.